Hi, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Careers this week. I have some really exciting guests with me on today that I'm really excited to share with you and have them introduce themselves. As always, my name is Erica O'Toole, your usual host on the program, and I am an assistant director in the Career Development Center. I supervise our first impressions and our outreach programs, and I work with our College of Education and Human Services as well as our global campus students. As usual, at the top of every coffee and careers, we always discuss what type of coffee we're having and what mug we have. So you guys know that I always have a different mug, which is a little crazy. I have a very large collection, but today I have my cool mom cup. So I have a little 2-year-old, and this is my Ray Dunn mug. I love Ray Dunn. So she does a lot of household products, and I'm a little obsessed. I always have to buy like every mug she has. So I'm on campus, which is super exciting. And I went to Starbucks today. So my coffee is an iced coffee with oat milk, which I have been trying. It's a little different, but I really like it. So as usual, I'm going to hand it over for introductions from my other guests here, but please ask us questions throughout. We want this to be a chance for you guys to get your questions answered. But today we are featuring the program Outdoor and Environmental Recreation. So you can see our really cool background here, which we're going to get to talk about. But I'm going to let Jamie go ahead and introduce herself from here.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Jamie Story, a frequent visitor with Erica. Love these sessions. And I am the Director of Student Services for the College of Education and Human Services. So I oversee the academic advising units. We've got 9 academic advisors, and we are always here to help if you have any questions about your program. And I have also a family mug. So I am a mom of 3, and I got this little mug with a bunch of pictures from the last year of my kiddos for Christmas. And I am drinking just regular coffee with Italian sweet cream creamer. And so I will let our wonderful faculty from the Outdoor and Environmental Recreation program introduce themselves. Bob and Lynn, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Bob Dvorak. I'm a professor here at Central Michigan University in the Recreation, Parks, and Leisure Services program. My area of interest in teaching is natural resources and wilderness. So working with visitor use in backcountry areas and dealing with the uses that we have across all the different protected areas, both in the U.S. but also internationally as well. We're coming to you from our Adventure Center here on campus. So this is one of the facilities in our program where we're able to work with students doing team building, program delivery, educational training, working with youth groups and student groups in leadership activities, and in general, just a good teaching space as we try to have a very much applied and hands-on program. As for what I'm drinking, Lynn and I have the actual matching cups today. So usually we always have a Yeti cup. We're a little bit snobbish in our brands, I guess. So my coffee was actually in my other Yeti cup, which was my green one. So this is my dedicated Yeti water cup. So we switched to that for today.
And I'm Lynn Dominguez. I'm also a professor in the Recreation, Parks, and Leisure Services Department in Outdoor and Environmental Recreation, but I teach in the Outdoor and Environmental Education area and interpretation. So before I came to Central, I was a park interpreter in Virginia Beach at Seashore State Park and Natural Area. So I was leading all kinds of groups and nature hikes and evening programs and junior ranger programs and critter kids, and teaching people about the Chesapeake Bay. So my husband and I, he retired from the Navy. We came back to Central to get my master's degree and then just never left. So I've been here for 27 years, and I've taught lots of different classes in the program. when I'm not here teaching, I'm waiting for the summer to come so I can go in my canoe and my kayak out on the Great Lakes and do some freestyle canoeing and some long distance kayaking. So my cup also, I don't actually like coffee, so mine usually has iced tea or water in it today. And so it's got water for this event.
And I'm so excited that you guys are coming to us from a location because, I mean, very cool when we have, you know, from offices and all of that. But how cool is it for our students to see such an awesome opportunity? Like the major just right up front there. I mean, that is so cool. And the first thing I really want to talk to you guys about, because I'm sure a lot of our students who are tuning in are wondering what the background is, right? I mean, we all love looking at polar bears. I think before this, I told you guys about my love of polar bears. But what are we looking at here? Why is this the background for today's Coffee and Careers?
So we put a couple of options up when we were thinking about it, and what this one is representing is some scholarly research that I've been doing. So I have been spending the last 5 years working with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, which is at the northernmost part of Alaska up in the Arctic Ocean. So I tell my students that when they're spending their last days on Lake Michigan over Labor Day weekend and getting some more beach time in, I'm getting my own beach time, but it's 30 degrees and it's in the Arctic Ocean. So I'm wearing my orange deadliest catch suit on a rubber raft up in the ocean. And what I've been doing there is working with the agency who manages visitors who are coming up as ecotourists to come and view polar bears in a natural habitat. So they have a very large attraction of polar bears in this part of the refuge. So visitors are paying a lot of money to do a very prestigious type of ecotourist activity to come up and see them. So similar to what a lot of our alumni and our students would do with their profession is someone has to be in charge of these activities. So someone has to be managing the use, someone has to be facilitating the information and education between visitors and safety and how to protect the wildlife. And then also having people who are interacting with the local Alaska Native community and making sure we're protecting cultural values for them while protecting an endangered species like polar bears. So it was a good way to represent that when you say recreation, a lot of individuals might think of just paddling or camping or mountain biking, but we're also those individuals who are providing that human interaction with the public when it comes to wildlife and natural resources.
Very cool. And I think that we always talk about how CMU is such a cool place because our professors have so much experience out in the field. I mean, this just shows that, right? You guys, both of you have already talked about how you're out there and you're doing these things and you're bringing that back to the classroom. And this is such a prime example. So I love that you shared this. And I love that this is our background and we get to look at polar bears while we're talking. How cool is that? Okay, so we have a couple questions that we have pre-written, but again, if any of you out there that are watching this have questions, please feel free to write those in the chat. I'm monitoring that and we'll feed those to Bob and Lynn, and they're more than happy to answer those for you. So I think we already know why we would want to go into this degree with only the first couple minutes here, but why should students pursue an outdoor and environmental recreation degree?
Well, it is a passion that you have for the outdoors and for the environment. And unfortunately, a lot of students, when they're in high school, only get introduced to the STEM fields. And the part that we play isn't so much chemistry and biology as it is helping people to enjoy the outdoors. So if students have a passion for that, they want to be outdoors, they want to help to protect and conserve natural resources, then there's probably a position for them waiting out in the wide world. Outdoor recreation is extremely diverse, and that's represented in our program with all the different classes that we have. So we try to prepare students for at least the basics for being able to take people into the outdoors, teach them about it, keep them safe, and then also protect and conserve natural resources.
And I think too, it's a way to represent, again, the diversity or the breadth of the options in the field. I often will tell students that, just as Lynn mentioned, when you look at those STEM fields and you believe, I want to be the wildlife biologist, and that's what my undergraduate degree was in wildlife biology. But if you look at the Michigan DNR or other levels of government, they don't hire 45 wildlife biologists, they hire one. Or one soil scientist or expert when it comes to forestry management. So it's a very defined field when you're looking at that, versus when you think of the outdoor recreation field, maybe that's the conservation officer, maybe that's the interpretive ranger at a national park, or maybe that's the private business owner who's renting out kayaks and canoes to go into the rivers at Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. So it's a partner within the industry versus saying it's a specific position that you're trying to seek out as a job. Instead, you're seeking out a career instead of just a job description.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really amazing answer. I love that it's more about a long-term career and passion than just like, this is the one thing that I will do for the rest of my life. So that's fantastic. So kind of going right along with that, how can a student turn their passion for the outdoors and the environment into a career using the outdoor and environmental recreation degree?
I think the way you're able to do that is with the curriculum that we've set up. We're very focused on having the concepts and the skills be around education, programming, leadership, and management. So you have those core competencies that you are able to understand. You pair that with a minor that's going to give you additional experience and content ability. And then you're able to go say, where do I want to go do all of this? So whether it's in the parks, whether it's at a camp, maybe it's internationally, and we have a student who's now running an eco village down in Costa Rica. Like, that's how they took their skills to go do something. So it's using a skill set to then follow what you're most excited about in the industry, instead of finding a defined career path of where you're going to be.
And you can enter the field with a bachelor's degree. So unlike a lot of the sciences, you don't have to then go on and get a master's degree. You can enter right in with the bachelor's degree, which also means that you need some experience. So our 30-week internship that most of our students do is one of the longest in the industry. None of the other universities have a 30-week internship. And we try to match you with your particular interest in the outdoors. So some students will split that internship in two and do 15 weeks maybe at camps and then 15 weeks with the state parks, depending on where they see themselves with an interest area. So there's a lot of these programs that don't tell students that you have to go on for a master's degree to get anywhere. But ours isn't like that at all. So you can work your way up with that bachelor's degree. And as soon as you get to campus, you can start taking our classes. You don't have to wait.
That's so awesome. And we see, internships are it's such an integral part of then entering the workforce. And so the fact that, like you guys said, that we're one of the big programs that does the internship within this industry, I think is such a benefit for our students. And I know you mentioned the international experience as well a little bit. And I know I'm going off script just a little bit here, but can you just touch a little bit on the study abroad experience? Because I remember, Bob, you talking a little bit about that, and it's just a really phenomenal experience. So I wanted you to just maybe speak for a minute about that.
Yes, yeah. So for the past 4 or 5 years now, with Jordan Bursama, one of our colleagues, we've been leading an honors trip to New Zealand in May. So it's a 2-week trip where we go to the South Island of New Zealand, and we kind of picked that as a location for several reasons. One, we were like, why would you not want to go to New Zealand? Like, it's like, if I can pick a place to go, where can you go? And we both said there. But it's it's a location where they value conservation and sustainability as part of their national culture. So we were excited to go there. And what we do with the students, starting in the early in the semester, before we even leave, we start talking about the cultural values that will be there. We start talking about what backcountry use and camping might be like. We're always excited where we've had students who it's their first time on a plane, it's their first time sleeping in a tent, it's their first time leaving Michigan sometimes. So to leave the Detroit airport and fly to New Zealand and then be on a mountain in a tent, we set the bar pretty high for the rest of your life experiences. But what we do with them is, we spend a long time backpacking and kayaking and spending time out in the resources, where we travel as a group, and it's much more of a family experience than it is a classroom. So we're using the natural environment as the classroom. So students are the leaders for the day. They plan the itinerary in certain senses. They're doing peer teaching on environmental ethics and skills. They're getting to interact with the Maori people and learn about the culture. So we've done hakas before with the Maori people, and we've had traditional dinners and gotten to try traditional plants in the forest and do crafts and those things. So you get a really good experience of how a different culture sees the natural environment compared to a Western version. And then they get to come back here, and most of them, again, are not our students. So whether they're working in health professions or engineering or in the humanities, they're able to see those leadership skills and see how a cultural value of the environment and sustainability can further play into their profession when they go out into the field.
That's amazing. I think that's so important too, that you noted that a lot of the students that go on that study abroad trip they might not be in recreation programs. And I think especially with everything going on with the pandemic, we've begun to recognize more so than ever before how important enjoying like the outdoors is, because we can't be inside with anyone. And so for any way that we can, like, I know my family, to get to a park or to just be outside together or to socially distance with maybe like my parents or something outside has been really important. And using our park systems is something that we've been doing, of like, let's meet at, Deerfield Nature Park, which is in Mount Pleasant. But yeah, that's amazing. I have a follow-up question about your study abroad. Is this something that's ever open to staff members to go?
We've been asked that. The dean has asked if they can come along and supervise and see how it's going. So yeah, it's definitely, we've been leading the trips for nearly 9 years now in different formats. We started going to Beaver Island in Michigan, and then we were asked, where would you like to go next? We said Colorado. So then we went to Colorado for a couple of years, and then they said, where do you want to go next? And we said New Zealand. So what's next? We've kicked around places like Patagonia or Costa Rica or other places, but I think it demonstrates that the learning objectives and the activities that the faculty want students to experience can happen in a number of places. We're not confined to, you can only do this in a certain setting. It has such broad appeal that it applies to a diversity of inclusion in all those kind of characteristics.
That's amazing. Yeah. Go ahead, Erica.
Jamie, we might have to take this live on location.
I know. May of next year.
Yeah.
And I do think, like you had said, like you're literally outdoor recreation, kind of like the world is your classroom. I mean, anywhere you go to Colorado, you go up north, that's really amazing and something fantastic for individuals who are considering this degree, or who maybe have never heard of it before, to think about like this. It really is that anywhere in the world could lead to a career in outdoor recreation. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And I think my next question has kind of already been answered, because literally anywhere, but I'll ask it anyways. Where can I work with a degree in outdoor and environmental recreation?
Well, I would say we have alumni scattered all over the United States, but also overseas too. But some of the examples are places like the Forest Service here in Michigan, but also out in Utah or out in Alaska, where they're working They might be working with fisheries. They might be working with wildlife. They're doing environmental education programs in nature centers across the United States. We have students that work in zoos as zoo educators, so they're not necessarily the zookeeper. They're the ones that are doing the birthday parties for kids, or they're doing the walks around and talks around the area. We have a student right now that her main job is search and rescue, and she fought fires all summer out in the West. And she also directs bear jams in Yellowstone sometimes. So she's doing all those kinds of things. We have another brand new alumni that spent her summer leading whitewater rafting trips and is now leading snowmobile trips in Colorado. So, and then they're working in the traditional places like conservation officers in all of the states, in the state parks, in the national parks. And there's a wide range of different jobs and career possibilities within them. Used to be, it was really sad. Outdoor recreation was pigeonholed into this idea that we only worked in camps or park rangers cleaning toilets. And that is so far from the truth of what the diversity of jobs are that our students are picking up.
And I would add to, with if you think of the message that CMU is trying to communicate, through the campaign of We Do, that's the question that a recreation professional can be asked. It's, are you able to go take this group of sixth graders on a hike in a marsh? Yeah, we can do that. Can you go and collect information about elk sightings in this park? Yeah, we can do that. Can you go rescue this person who's been injured on a climbing site? Yeah, we can do that. I think those are the things where you look at, again, in our industry of, we're not Yogi Bear wearing just the hat and the person who's falling into hijinks because something happened. We are, all those places people are enjoying themselves. There's a recreation professional who's planned, organized, managed, and administrated all those things that happened that you never were aware of before you got there.
Mm-hmm. We actually have a question that I'm going to pop up on the screen from Paige. She said, "Hi there, I love traveling, don't we all?" So my question was, is this program available on global campuses, or are classes only available on main campus?
Yeah, so our classes are not easily transferred into the into the internet. It has been a real struggle for us, and actually our classes are very hands-on, very experience-based, and so we've been face-to-face since the fall. So unfortunately, we don't have classes that are online at this time, and we're not quite sure how we would teach you to teach people about outdoor and environmental education and be online. So you need to come to campus and be here for the program.
And to add to that, some of it is, like, one of our classes is Leave No Trace. So we go through the curriculum and the ethics of Leave No Trace. But instead of doing that in a classroom, we take you for an overnight camping trip where we all sleep in tents, and we have the students teach to each other how to camp responsibly, how to demonstrate those things. So, part of that is we like to ensure that none of our students go through our program and have never been in a tent before, have never sat by a campfire before. But it's also letting them know that that's going to be their office, that's going to be their classroom. When we do, as you see here in the Adventure Center, when the students get taught to do belaying and team building and group facilitation, we take them up to a YMCA camp north of campus here for the weekend, where they get to do that all outside with each other. So they're putting to practice what they're doing with their peers. So when they have to do it with a real audience, they've already got experience doing that.
Yeah, and one thing I think that's so great is, students come to the Mount Pleasant main campus to take the coursework, but the curriculum also includes a lot of ability to kind of get off of campus. Like I've seen I didn't take all these courses because this wasn't my program as a CMU alum, but doing like winter backpacking up north, in the very frigid cold of like February or whatever, canoeing, we've seen archery classes. Like there's a lot of really hands-on curriculum that can be incorporated in. I'm assuming as long as students work with the two of you or their faculty advisor. And so there are some opportunities that, like Paige was saying, like I love to travel, or I love kind of being out there and being engaged in the world, that while it might be only a couple hours away, or even just within the Mount Pleasant area, there's still a lot of opportunity to kind of get off campus and be outside. Like you had said, the outdoors is your classroom in this case. I mean, of course, there are classes that are in the classroom, but I just think that's really unique and really cool that this program offers that.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the program, right? Is that there are so many hands-on experiences. So I think that's what makes it so unique.
And for example, think about our wellness days. So the student planning board came to us to figure out what to do with students for wellness days. So we've already done snowshoeing that was immediately filled up. And then we had put 80 students through our climbing wall and zip line on our last wellness day. So those are all part of the things that students are looking for stress relief and leisure. And as an outdoor recreation professional, you get to provide those then and to help people use their leisure in a responsible way.
Gosh, and that is so needed right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I think Jamie might have froze up there for a minute. Oh, there she is.
Sorry, it wasn't that important. I was just saying how important it is. Yeah, that we do provide that leisure activity. And I think now more than ever, right? Like it's with everything going on in the world, it's really nice that you're doing that service for the entire CMU campus. And so it's just amazing. I am ever impressed with the Outdoor and Environmental Recreation Department and all that you offer.
Jamie, I think you have another question for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I were a student wanting to look into this program, how would you answer the question, how can I best prepare myself for a career in outdoor and environmental recreation?
Okay. So what we always advocate for our students as soon as we can get a hold of them and sign their major is that they need to use their summers wisely. So we have a whole list of job opportunities during the summer working in the field because, yeah, we can provide all the academics, but it's that experience that makes the difference. And our program is really structured towards professional development and certifications. So just like the Leave No Trace class, you get certified as a Leave No Trace trainer. That never goes away. It's a national certification as part of the class. The same with wilderness first responder. As long as you pass all of the tests and the practical application, we have a class where you can get 3 credits, become a wilderness first responder, and then that's your ticket into adventure education, being a health officer in a camp, working with a smoke jumper unit, and you're the medical person on the ground with them. I provide a whole bunch of environmental education, professional development opportunities for students. And I really encourage them to save a little bit of money because they cost a little bit. But then on a Saturday, I might have a group of students here. We're learning all about Project Wild or Project Learning Tree. And they go away with not only the books, but also the knowledge and a certificate that says that they did that. And that kind of stuff goes on their resume. Before you get to Central, if you're a high school student thinking about this, you can use your summers wisely too. Instead of working at the local ice cream shop, call the DNR and tell them you want to work in the state parks, or you want to work with kids at a nature center and go and volunteer or work in those places, and that builds your resume.
And
Absolutely.
I completely agree with Lynn. Those are the things where, or it's find that experience where you can go on an outward bound field trip, or you can spend some time, if there's a workshop or a sleepover camp where you can spend some time doing those things. All those things that get you out into the field are also going to help you understand then where you feel you're best going to plug into that whole discipline. So are you working with the kids, or are you the person who would love to be solo backpacking in the Rockies, going campsite to campsite, checking on backpackers to see if they're doing okay. So you can use your personality, you can use those things that are part of you to find out, like, this is where I can best feel like I'm having an exciting and an impactful and fulfilling profession by trying all those out.
Absolutely. It's all about experience. And I mean, that's what we tell students every day in the Career Development Center. As much as you can expand your experience to show those future employers. And I think this department is such a great example of that. So that's awesome. I have one more question before we wrap things up. Where are internships available for outdoor and environmental rec? I know you guys talked about it, but maybe you can discuss a little bit specifically where you've seen students.
There, like, as we kind of have been mentioning, it's, if people are recreating there, we can have an internship there. So we have our own internship office, the Center for Leisure Services, that works with all these different sites to establish agreements and establish relationships so we can have students there. So if we want to kind of work our way out, Michigan, we've been at the Adventure Discovery Center in Detroit, to Sleeping Bear Dunes, to Isle Royale, to working in probably, almost all of the state parks at the state level, or the nature centers and the summer camps, to Yellowstone, Yosemite, Grand Canyon, Zion, and then places like Costa Rica, the Caribbean. We had a student do their internship filming dives for a scuba diving company in the Caribbean.
Wow.
To New Zealand, to Ireland, to South Africa. If there's an opportunity to work with the public around education, resources, and recreation, we can find an internship for somebody.
That's so awesome. I mean, talk about different types of locations literally around the world. So that is really phenomenal. Very cool. I know I've learned a ton just in this short half hour. So I so much appreciate you guys joining us today. I think this probably helped so many students who probably did kind of maybe have that stigma about the major as well, or just didn't know a lot about the major. And so I think that's the beauty of having a lot of these sessions. I really enjoy learning myself about the majors. And I've enjoyed looking at the polar bears. I've enjoyed spending time with you guys. And so I really appreciate you guys joining me. Do we have any last minute thoughts that you guys have to share?
I just say, every time you see one of those Pure Michigan ads, just remember that's our natural resources, and somebody's got to be managing them, administering them, and educating about them. So if you like the outdoors, come to CMU in our outdoor program.
And I would just add that if you think about the time you have in your life, everything that you're not doing for work is recreation and leisure. So all of that other parts of what people want to be doing when they're not working, someone has to be the responsible professional that's providing that. So, so those are when we talk about what people want to achieve as life benefits, we're the ones that are trying to provide those benefits for everybody.
Jamie, do you have any last minute thoughts?
No, just this is amazing. I always love hearing about the outdoor and environmental recreation program. And yeah, if anybody watching has any questions, please reach out to us. You can put it in the chat. I'm sure there will be somebody monitoring the chat on the Career Development Center website, or you can email ehs@cmich.edu. So it's the Education and Human Services College, so ehs@cmich.edu. We'd be happy to get you on campus and, set it up so you could meet Lynn and Bob.
Absolutely. And they're an awesome resource. They're also, they have hilarious jokes about everything within outdoor environmental rec. I mean, before we even got on this, they were cracking us up. So great people. I've enjoyed working with you guys so much. So thank you for joining us. Happy Friday, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. And thank you for joining us on this lovely Friday. So we will see you soon, and have a wonderful day.
Bye.